We're actually going to talk about Star Wars for a few minutes because our good friend Chris Gore over at Film Threat had a few things to say about the first 4 episodes that he was able to see, and I thought it was worth a discussion. Now, if you're not familiar with Film Threat, you should be going over there and subscribing to that channel. I'll have links below. Film Threat does a great job of reviewing a lot of different shows and movies, and some things you have heard of, some things you probably would not be familiar with if you didn't hear it from Film Threat. So a great source for entertainment. Now let's talk about Andor. This is a series that I was very critical of the announcement of it. I just thought this was a bad idea. It did not sound good at all. And, you know, I didn't like Rogue One that much, even with all of the other stuff. Let's just eliminate all of the stuff Disney Star Wars. All of my criticisms, all of my problems with Lucasfilm, let's eliminate all of that. The announcement of Andor just did not interest me at all, just based on just the films and forgetting all of the other noise, just the films. But the things that I'm hearing at least are interesting, at least from what Chris Gore has to say. So let's hear that, and then we will discuss it further.
Because that's why you're all here. Let's discuss Andor episodes 1 through 4. This is our early reaction, not an official review. We're not going to be getting too much into just sort of broadly about the story, just to give you a taste of what it's like, but not too many details and definitely no spoilers on this. So I want to launch right in and say that this is the most, and other people have said this, it's the most adult Star Wars that has ever been made. There are almost zero laughs or humor. There are moments of levity, but there's not any haha humor that just kind of, you know, breaks them out of it. There's no, like, there is a droid and it's in there and it's very practical, but it's not a cute droid that does cute things or goofy things that you cut to. No, it doesn't happen. This is a serious show I think kids will actually be bored with this show. And whereas Kenobi was really, I think that was the thing that really, I mean, Kenobi was just god awful. Might be the worst Star Wars produced by, you know, after Disney took over.
That's probably fair. Kenobi was horrible. Kenobi was awful. Now, in terms of just what he said already, that right there, you've at least got me interested. And again, I am eliminating all of my other problems with Lucasfilm from this. I'm trying to just look at this at face value. So what he's saying, I'm interested. That sounds very, very interesting. Very adult, not a lot of jokes. It doesn't have a cutesy droid. Kids may get bored with this. This is what we were wanting from not the mainline Star Wars movies, not the episodic ones, but these spin-off movies and shows. This is exactly the type of tone that we were hoping for and wanting. So again, we'll continue on.
This is very different in the sense that it's much more serious. The stakes are very high. It starts with Cassian Andor as a kid. And for the first 3 episodes, you're seeing like young Cassian Andor's story as a child and how he's effectively saved and kind of why he has something of a chip on his shoulder. And you're seeing that reflected with his current day story. He's involved in effectively a barroom brawl where 2 people are killed, and then he's being sought after by authorities. The authorities aren't even the Empire. It's basically the company that's employed these blue-collar workers, effectively blue-collar workers working on I believe they're working on starships. I can't tell from the exact shape, but they're all working on starships. It's just the whole tone of it is different. It's even more serious than Rogue One in terms of its approach. And my understanding is it's being produced by the people who made the Bourne Identity series of movies.
Yeah, the writer and the director.
Right. The other thing about this show, it is the best looking Star Wars since I can't even remember. It's epic in scale. It's things where you'll see, and also just even the sound design. There's a scene where a TIE fighter kind of flies very low over a landscape, and you really feel it. You feel the scale, the size of it. Everything just feels more real and more lived in. And what I also loved about it is there was a bridge kind of between the prequels and the original trilogy, a much more definitive bridge. In fact, we see, Cassian travel to at least one other world. Well, two worlds in the first four episodes. It's a different look, and it's definitely Star Wars. I would say that the starship design is better than anything we saw in the sequel trilogy. Like, just hands down better design of starships.
Not the best compliment ever, but point given. Now, again, everything he's saying up to this point, I think this is really good. Now, again, I don't know if this is going to make me care because I'm so far removed from Star Wars, but I think it's important to cover these things because I'm gonna hit Disney anytime that something negative is popping up. I'm gonna crush them every time there's something that I can crush them over, and I've done that consistently on this channel over and over again. And I think it's only fair to the viewing audience here at Geeks and Gamers that, when I hear something like this from someone that I greatly respect, like Chris Gore, I think it's only fair that I give you this perspective. Doesn't mean you have to go watch it. Doesn't mean that you have to forgive Disney. You, as an individual, are free to do whatever it is you want. And that is what I've always preached to the viewers of Geeks and Gamers. You are free to do what you want. My job is to deliver the information, and your job is to do whatever you want with that information. That is what individuality is all about.
Everything feels way more real. Real sets. Real. There's an action scene where there's a shootout with involving Stellan Skarsgård's character and Cassian Andor. This shootout in like a factory where stuff is going wrong. It's pretty amazing shootout. I mean, it's right out of some crime film or Western that I thought was great. And I really think that the thing that sets this apart is, more than anything, the seriousness, the level of seriousness. There's another thing too. They go to Coruscant in I believe it's episode 2. Is it episode 2? And you start to meet like sort of basically what amounts to the Empire's surveillance team. Right. And
so I'm going to stop it there only because, definitely. I want you guys to go check out the rest of what Chris has to say over on his channel. But that kind of sets like the initial tone. And he does add a little bit more. Both of them actually, do have discussions about this. And it's really interesting. So, again, me and Chris obviously have disagreements on things like any normal human beings do. But my respect for Chris is as high as anyone that I have met on the internet. I've been watching Chris for years, and I love what he's doing over there with Film Threat. And so when I heard this, I said, look, I got to cover this because I have crushed Disney and Lucasfilm more than probably anyone. Rightfully so. And I'll continue to crush them. I destroyed them over Kenobi because Kenobi was a disaster, an embarrassment beyond belief. And I may still feel the same way about Andor, and I will be covering Andor because you, the viewing audience, have told me this is what you want from me. You want me to cover things. You want me to give you information. You want me to give you feedback. That's what I am supposed to be doing for this audience, and that's what I will continue to do, so I appreciate that feedback. So I will be watching Andor and giving you that feedback. Ultimately, though, yeah, what Chris Gore has to say is very interesting, and it makes me at least take it's giving me some level of interest, at least going in. I went into Kenobi hoping for the best, knowing I was going to get the worst, because there was no way that they were actually going to do anything right by that. I don't know who all is involved with this situation, with this series, but at least these first few episodes, it sounds like Star Wars we should have been getting the whole time. So we'll see what happens. Very interesting take from Chris Gore and Film Threat. The series is supposed to release here in a few days. If it is this kind of adult-oriented and it has these types of themes and it doesn't have a lot of jokes and a lot of cute characters, I can't see this even if it's good, I can't see this series doing anything. Big time anyway. Obviously, Kenobi was always going to do big numbers because you were bringing back Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen. You had all the gimmicks that you needed. Obviously, Mandalorian has this Baby Yoda stuff. It brings back all of these characters. It's got that type of pull. I understand all of that. With this is, again, the problem is that this is a series that should have done well, but not something that was going to blow the roof off of anything, which is exactly what it needed to be if everything else Star Wars was operating in the way that it should have been operating. If Lucasfilm would have been doing what they needed to do by honoring Star Wars the whole time, then you get something like this that doesn't hit that pop culture phenomenon, but it gives you that kind of gritty, you know, lived-in feel, that adult-oriented feel that doesn't have all the gimmicks, and it would have been a nice complement to the bigger world that they were creating with Star Wars. But they've done such a bad job with the everything else Star Wars, with the general Star Wars mainline films and the series, that they've hurt it so bad that a series like this, it doesn't seem like it's going to do anything for them, even if it's really good in isolation. Time will tell. I guess I'll let you guys know my thoughts when I see it. Shout out to Film Threat. Go subscribe to their channel. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.